This podcast is sponsored by BB Makes, a family-run personalised gift company. From sports bottles to team merchandise, BB Makes has you covered. They will happily work with you to create unique designs for your perfect gift, with a wide range of products, all able to be personalised with names, quotes, pictures and much more. Head over to bbmakes.com. That's www.bebemakes.com and use the code COIS so they know that we sent you. Oh, and of course, come on you Spurs.
Welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Welcome to the shit show. Every single day, a new flavor of fuckery, 'cause everybody's such, you see, and they're dumber than a bat.
Hello everybody and welcome to the shit show. Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam. Joining me to discuss all things in the happening world of Tottenham Hotspur, it's Stefan.
Hey buddy, what a week.
Did you like my little add-on? I
like that. That could probably stay for a majority of the season.
Yeah, I've loaded it into the desk now, so it's there. So, welcome to episode 259 of the Spurs News Podcast. We are a weekly show, most weeks, talking all things Tottenham, and right now it's a battle. It is a real fight, but I wrote out a kind of itinerary running list for this show, and it is packed because there was quite a lot of stuff I wanted to fit in. So that being said, I want to open with a segment which I'm delightfully going to call Pre-Season Dumbasses, where we're going to look back at the admin team. Now, I know a lot of listeners sent in their predictions as well. I'm letting you all off the hook, okay? I'm focusing on the Spurs News team, our pre-season predictions, okay? Now, normally, we do these before the season opener, and then we talk about them a little bit at Christmas, and then obviously at the end of the season we'll review it. And at the end of the season, we will review it again. But the reason why I'm doing it today is obviously the first game of the season was Leicester away. And now we're playing Leicester at home. So I thought, this dovetails, this bookends quite nicely.
Nice, yeah.
So, I have here written down the predictions from Polynesian Dan, Lovely Laura, yourself, me, and Matt. Who do you want to start with?
Let's start with Dan.
Okay, so what we asked everyone is who you thought would be the top goal scorer, who you felt would get the most assists, where you think our league finish will be at the end of the season. Do you think we'll win a cup, or what do you think our best, how far do you think we'll get, what will be our best return? And which youngster do you think will, step forward and impress the most? Okay, so those are the categories. Now, Dan, Polynesian Dan, said the top goal scorer will be Sonny.
Who he wants to sell.
Who he constantly wants to sell, yeah.
Yep.
He said the person getting the most assists would be Brennan Johnson. He believed at the start of the season we would finish fourth. He believed that we would win a cup. He specified he felt that cup would be the Europa League.
Ooh.
And he said the youngster that will stand out will be Gray. I think of all of those there, the youngster standing out being Gray, I think he's spot on.
Yeah, that one is correct.
Lovely Laura said top goal scorer, Son. Assists, Brendan Johnson again. She believed league place would be fifth. She felt the best we would get in any cup competition was reaching the semi-final, which we have done.
We have done, so that is a tick for her.
And she picked out Gray as well for a youngster. So again, I think she's got 2 ticks there.
Yeah, not bad.
Matt picked out Son again as the top goal scorer. He picked Madders for most assists. Unfortunately, he said we finished third in the league.
Mathematically not impossible.
I think it actually is now.
Yeah, oh God.
He felt as well we would win a cup. He didn't specify which one. He just felt we'd pick up one of them, and he picked out Lucas Berreval as the man, which again is a fair shout.
Yeah, he's done very well this season.
Now, do you remember yours?
I don't, but that makes me worry more.
Okay, so you
I
picked
feel
out.
like I was well over optimistic.
Well, you picked out top goal scorer to be Solanke.
Oh, okay.
You picked out the person with the most assists to be Brennan Johnson. So running theme, we all really felt he'd get a lot of assists this year.
He's actually our top goal scorer, so instead of we were well off.
In the league, where do you think you said we'd finish?
Was I ridiculous? I don't know. Was I optimistic and went to fourth, or did I go realistic fifth?
You went fourth.
Oh, fourth again. Yeah, okay.
You were asked, will we win a cup? You said no. You said the best we would do would be the quarterfinals. So we've surpassed your expectations there.
There we go. It's a good season.
And you picked out Lucas Berreval for youngster as well.
Which surprises me because I am a massive fan of Archie Gray even before he joined. I'm surprised I didn't go for Archie.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Sorry, Gray.
Now, I picked out Solanke as top goal scorer and Johnson for assists, same as you.
God, we really all had really high hopes this season, didn't we?
For Johnson, yeah. I said we would win a trophy this year, one of the cups. I picked out Lucas Berreval as the youngster I felt was going to stand out. For a league finish, I said 6th to 8th, and I got a lot of shit for that. I just want to point that out.
6th to 8th would be quite a good finish.
If we finish anywhere between 8th and 6th from here, I think it would be quite an excellent position, yeah. Which is still infinitely possible, by the way. The league table is unbelievably congested. Any side who can find form and maintain it for a few weeks would actually really climb the table.
Yeah, it's a crazy table this year.
Unfortunately, doing that appears to be the problem. So, those were the predictions at the start of the season. If you remember yours, obviously look back fondly now. Like I said, I'm not throwing anyone who threw theirs in under the bus with this. We're just going to throw ourselves under it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you remember? Did anyone say we'd win the league?
No.
Oh, I can't laugh at them.
We had a few people say we'd be second. A few of the listeners felt that we'd go well to chase down City, but City would dominate, which again is another amusing.
Which ironically, because at the moment it's Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest that are hunting down City, and not for the top of the table. So yeah. This season is batshit, isn't it?
It is a little bit, yeah.
Nottingham Forest are like joint 2nd or 3rd in the league. Bournemouth are like 5th or 6th, and City are like 5th or 6th. It's mental.
Yeah, well, it makes it interesting.
Only Tottenham can have a really bad season at the same time as Man City. Like, what are the chances?
They're pretty solid chances, to be fair. We seem to be indelibly linked with that club. Okay, so that is the predictions looking back. Hopefully it's given everyone a bit of an eye roll and a laugh. It's time now, though, to hand over to our fellow Tottenham fans.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
Now, we have nothing via Instagram, sadly, but we had a message in on Facebook. He said, if it's not too late, I'm taking my boy to his first Spurs game on Sunday. What is your memory of your first game? That's from Michael Jasperanis.
Oh.
You all right? You sound like you dropped your phone.
Yeah, no, that was me. That was reminiscing. You could hear the brain whirring, I think.
Oh, okay.
I remember my first game. My first game was a pre-season friendly against PSV.
Oh, okay.
That was back when we had like Jamie Redknapp and Robbie Keane and stuff.
Yeah.
I was sat in the Cockerel Lounge because my granddad's business had like a little couple of seats in the bit there.
Yeah.
We got to go to the Cockerel Lounge, and then I went on watched the game. I can't remember the score.
Okay.
But after the match, we were all back in the Cockerel Lounge, and then as we were leaving, everyone had to go to the toilet before they left.
Yeah.
And me being like 10, 11 maybe at the time,
Yeah.
I was quite young, walked back out onto the terrace, and all the players were doing their warm down on the pitch.
Yeah.
And I screamed at the top of my little lungs, "I love you, Robbie Keane."
Yeah.
And a load of the players turned around and waved at me.
Wow, that's a good memory for your first game.
That was my first ever game. And then my first competitive game was against Brighton in an FA Cup game.
Nice. Well, I've told the story before, but my first actual game was FA Cup semi-final 1991 at Wembley.
The Gascoigne.
Yeah, he's gonna have a crack, you know. That's which is kind of mental. It's funny because I got taken to that by my brother, and then there was like a pre-season friendly because I'm from Bristol, obviously, if my accent didn't give it away. And there was a pre-season friendly at Ashton Gate in Bristol City. And I was taken, like, a load of my family are Bristol City season ticket holders and, you know, sort of devout fans. And because Tottenham were there, they took me. So I was sat with all the Bristol City fans, all the kind of watching the game. And Bristol City went 1-0 up. And I was getting a lot of shit. And we won 3-1, so that's and I didn't give any shit back because I just sort of thought to myself, nah, just sit here smiling. That's fine.
Just smile and wave.
I'm young enough that I'm not going to get, you know, taken out, so it's fine. But yeah. So there you go. That's the memories of that. I really hope the boy has a really good day, and if we win and win well, he officially becomes the lucky charm. And you got to take him to every game. Just saying.
Between now and the end of the season, home and away.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thomas Beattie on the Facebook page says, "Why haven't we bought any defenders?" Thomas, from your mouth to God's ears, my friend. I am the I don't know what the right word is. The ineptitude, the lack of planning, I don't know. It's purely incompetence at this stage.
Yeah, pretty much.
I touched on it last week, and I'm just going to reiterate it slightly. You know, the January transfer window doesn't mean that you cannot do anything until January. You can literally line up and agree deals that will go through on the 1st of January. You see clubs do it all the time for the summer window especially. Yep. So you have all of this time to work. Now, I think it was the first week in December we lost both of our central defenders again. And we knew at that point, in the mid-December, that we had a severe injury crisis in the club. And it was only going to get worse because, of course, the players that were playing through. Some of them had, like, knocks and scrapes, but they couldn't be rested because, like, the injuries, etc. So anyone with half a brain cell will know if you're playing in 4 competitions, 2 games a week, your squad needs to be bigger and better than what Tottenham started the season with.
Yep.
Someone pointed out to me yesterday, which is mind-blowing. We started this season with a smaller squad than we started last season, but significantly smaller.
Yeah, we released quite a few players and didn't really bring much in.
And we were basically knocked out of both cups fairly early. We weren't in Europe last year. So we played basically the minimum amount of games you can play, near enough, in a season, with a far larger squad than what we came into this one with, where we knew we were in 4 competitions and there were additional games to Europe this year, etc. So the planning, etc. has been awful. Now, if that transfer window in the summer was okay, if you like, it was, you know, you added some very good players to the squad, but not enough, then the January window really should have been worked on immediately as, okay, every window we need to improve. We know in January we needed this. Now, when the injury crisis hit, the club should have really pulled their finger out.
That'd be where you double down on, right, we definitely need to make sure we are making 4 signings and they need to be this.
Yeah, I mean, literally the only signing we've made so far is a goalkeeper. He's 21 years old. You can argue again with that signing at 21 as a goalkeeper is very young. You know,
Yep.
we got 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds on the pitch on a regular basis. That's very young for outfield players. 21 for a goalkeeper is very young. So again,
Goalkeepers aren't meant to peak until they hit like 30.
yeah. So again, we've got this situation where how is this assisting us now? Now the lads come in and done very well, but it just again is we need to be looking at players who are able to come in and assist the team and the squad now, and hopefully help us, you know, climb the table, be the difference maker in these competitions we're in, because it's ridiculous. So why have we not signed any defenders? Pure incompetence is my view. Absolute incompetence, because the players are out there and the club has the money. That they'll plead that they don't, but it's bullshit because the accounts got released last week in the Telluride League and it's all there for everybody to look up. And if anyone's interested, I'll send you the breakdown. They were a financial powerhouse. We have the funds available. They are just not spending them. They're
Like,
not
if we
taking
were
the chance.
purely business based, those accounts are absolutely phenomenal.
Mate, we're top of the league for accounts.
The problem is we are actually a football team, not we are a business, but we're a football team as well.
Yeah.
And
Look,
it feels very much like people are forgetting that part.
well, when you say people, the board, Donna Cullen, Daniel Levy, let's name and shame them. They are running the club as a business very, very well. They are not running a football team. It is not football-based decisions on what's going on.
Not even a little bit.
And it never has been. Like this isn't new. This is our ownership, our leadership at the top, and it's why the club just slinks from manager to manager, project to project. Players come, players go. They arrive ambitious, they leave, well, it's just Tottenham, it doesn't matter. Because the whole attitude from the top is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it is beyond this window. Look, whatever your opinion is on Ange Postecoglou, whether you're Ange in, Ange out, whether you think he's not, like, whatever the opinion is, surely everyone can agree that no matter who the manager, whatever name it is, whatever system we're playing, whatever tactic, etc., looking at the injury crisis and looking at the situation we're in, any manager would struggle right now, and any manager is basically being hung out to dry because he's not got any help.
Was it 14 players missing from yesterday's squad?
Yeah, two of them were ineligible, but yeah, I mean, 12 injured.
You think that's an entire, like, you can make an entire, you actually can, someone did it. You
Yeah.
can make a starting 11 out of
You
amateur
can.
players.
And it's a very, very good starting 11.
Yeah.
It is madness. You know, Ben Davies has been out and he came straight back in, but that could have gone wrong, hideously wrong. You know, they're trying to manage the players as best they can, but you had to come in and play the whole game.
Yeah.
And it's mad. It's absolutely mad. But anyway, moving on from that, Martios says, if Ange is the answer, then what is the question? The question is, who is the Tottenham manager currently, Marty? Don't be a smartass. Tom Perk says, how good do you believe Archie Gray can become? What is his ceiling? Will he stay at Spurs for a long time? England international? I'll go through these. England international, yes. How good do I think he can become? I think he can become one of the best in his position when he ever finds what that position is. His ceiling is the sky's the limit for him. Will he stay at Spurs for a long time? Absolutely not.
He will stay at Spurs until he's worth enough money for the club to cash in.
Unfortunately, and I know this is a symptom of just the general feeling I have right now, and it's feeling pretty low about all things Tottenham. But the reality is, if you look back over ENIC's ownership and all the players and everything that's been signed and players that have come through, we do not have, except for a very brief period under Pochettino, sustained a team and players felt they were on to something. You can look at it, all the sides, all the managers. You had that Pochettino a couple of years where you could see the players really bought in and believed, okay, we're going somewhere. This is good. We can win. Kane signed like a 6-year contract and others, etc.
Yeah.
It was like every other day Pochettino's doing his pose while they're signing a new deal. It all moved in the right direction, and then we just sat on our hands. Absolute negligence. Didn't sign anyone or signed one player in 4 windows. It was appalling. Absolutely appalling. Now I know you can point to the stadium, you can point to different things, but there's so much in amongst this that is just negligence over and over again. And this with Gray, right now my feeling is, like you just said, he was signed young player, best part of 40 to 50 million with the add-ons, and you could well see him at 22 years old with only 1 year left on his deal. Why would he sign a new deal with the club?
Yeah.
You know, if you look at the shambles we're in and have been now, if that continues, why would you do that when he knows that all these other teams would take him? So right now, the club are just so mismanaged that I don't see anyone sticking around. I don't see anyone for the long term. I'd love it if you could say for the next decade, Sarr, Berval and Gray is a midfield 3. You've got a defensive midfielder, you've got box to box there, you've got energy for days, you've got skill and ability. I'd love that, and you have experienced players who are going to come in and out, like a Bensinger, Basuma, whoever, who are going to come in and out, add experience, rotate, etc., etc. But that is going to be your, like for a decade, that is your kind of block 3. I'd love to think that that is the plan and that is what we'll get. But the next manager could come in and, I want to play 5 in midfield. I want to play 1 in midfield. I want to do this. I want to do that. And we start all over again. And I'm kind of resigned to this constant circus now. And I don't see why a player would feel any kind of loyalty or any kind of, this is great. This is where I want to be for the long term. Players who come through the
you look at the players we've got now who actually have some loyalty to the club and how they're being treated. So look at Son.
Yeah.
He's being treated by a contract extension instead of a new contract.
Yep.
He's getting crap off the fans.
Yep.
Now, I will admit, he has not had his best season.
Nope.
And probably for the last season and a half, maybe, he has not been at the top of his game.
No.
However, he's definitely still good enough to be part of the squad.
Yeah. And
he's getting crap from the fans. And you look at it and go, well, if that's how you're going to treat, like, you've got to be one of the youngsters, like, you know, a Mikey Moore or someone coming through.
Yeah.
And you're looking at, like, your icon in Son.
Yeah.
How he's being treated by the club. And that's got to make you think, surely.
Well, it makes all of them think. You know, loyalty works both ways. You know, fans are supporters. You're there to support. Like, again, and there was this example. We had Mickey Hazard on the show years ago, and he gave an interview about how a penalty was missed, and the fans started singing the player's name. And he said the rest of us who were there ready to take penalties felt 7 feet, 8 feet tall. Because we knew, like, if we missed or whatever, the fans were supporting us, and, like, he said, we won that shootout. We won. That was like the UEFA Cup, and they won it that night. And he said that was so important, like, because that really made a difference. And I look at it now, and I'm like, I get we're in a bad spot, and like if the fans, don't get me wrong, I am Enoch out now. I am very much. I've had a gutful with the mismanagement of my football team for over 2 decades. You're taking the piss. Like, I've always been very kind of rational and very kind of, look, you're doing this really well, you're doing that not so well. And I've looked at it like they made the appointments. Like, Scott Munn is in charge of all football operations. I felt, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see the differences. And now we're in this window, and I'm like, there is no difference. Like, I saw him release people in the summer and stuff like that, and I thought, okay, this is good. And now here we are, and it's just negligent. Like, it's ridiculous.
I don't understand what Munn's doing at the moment. Like you say, in the summer, we released Ndombele, we released Jaffet, we released Ryan Sessegnon, all players who, in the past, we would have been trying to loan out with a fee attached or sticking around until someone brought them because we can't just let them go for nothing.
Yeah.
And we released them and we all kind of sat up and went, oh, this is new.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a new way of thinking. This is good. Okay.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at it, I'm like, what's he actually doing? Like, it's January. We have 12 players injured and we've signed a goalkeeper that he is a very good goalkeeper and he has shown that in the couple of games he's played already. But goalkeeper was not top of the priority list.
I mean, Lang is in charge of recruitment, and like for me, like I said, it's just pure negligence. It is awful. It is any other business in the world. You appoint people to do the job, certain things. You'd be sat there looking at this right now, going, "Well, they clearly can't do the job I've appointed them to do."
That's a sacking, yeah.
But then, behind the scenes, I know there's at least one example of a sporting director at Tottenham who quit after a window because he said he lined up deal after deal after deal that the manager wanted and the club nixed for one reason or another. And he was just like, no, I'm not doing this anymore.
You can't blame him.
No, that was Mitchell, by the way, in case anyone was wondering. Okay, so Richard Donnell says, how long is a piece of string? The same length as your penis. Barry Fowle says, is this the biggest crisis the club has faced since 1991? That required a change of ownership when Alan Sugar stepped in. This time its reversed financials are solid, but a mess on the field. I think the solution is the same. It's the change of ownership. Yeah. See, this is an interesting thing. I was talking to someone about this recently, and I think I've touched on this on the podcast, but I'll reiterate it anyway, is the Manchester City case, which is ongoing and we're still waiting the decision, is actually going to have a massive, massive bearing on a lot more than just Man City. And what I mean by that is, if, let's say, for example, you are a investment or firm, or you are someone looking at potentially buying Tottenham, one of the main things, like you've seen with Newcastle's new owners, is they can't just splash the cash. They've hit a wall due to the financial fair play rules.
Yeah, they are literally owned by a country. Like, they have more money than anyone else on the planet.
Yeah. You know, I think
they can't buy anyone.
No, they're stuck. They're having to navigate between the rules. So they are watching.
They had to sell a couple of their youth players in the summer just to balance the books. It's crazy.
Yeah, so they are looking at the Man City situation right now, because if Man City win that case, I can guarantee you St James's Park suddenly has a new name, and this by an associated company. And our naming rights deal is about 10 billion a year.
Yeah.
But
the Qatar James's Park. Yeah.
Now if Man City don't win, and if the Premier League win, then they're stuck, because all those avenues that Man City used are then closed, and you have got they will continue to have to build the revenue stream up to enable to invest more, which they'll do, but it will take them time. Yeah. Now we have it all. We have the capacity to go mental in the transfer market. We do. We have the capacity there. We've got the sheer powerhouse of the financial position due to the stadium. All of the events, everything that's going on there, all of the licenses, like NFL, the rugby union, everything, it is all sat there. We also know that Amanda Staveley's been in talks for months with Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy even put it out there that we are looking for external investment, so everyone knows that all that's going on. If you are one of those people and you're looking at it, and you're looking at this and you're thinking, okay, this is the amount of money we need to buy in, this is the amount of money we need to put through to enable the club to buy more players, etc., etc. We want them to become successful. You would be sat there on your hands currently waiting for the outcome of that. Because if, for example, Man City do win, you could buy Crystal Palace you could buy another club for a fraction of what Tottenham will cost you.
That's the thing, isn't it? You kind of look at the Premier League and go, right, what's the cheapest team? That one, right?
Yeah,
That's
and
the next powerhouse.
please don't think I was singling Crystal Palace out there as like some crap side. What I mean is, you can buy Crystal Palace for about 500 million pounds. If you wanted to buy Tottenham, you're looking at 2 billion up just to buy the club. Then you'd have to take on the debt, then you'd have to take on investing as well. So if you're sat there and you're thinking, okay, just to buy a chunk of Tottenham is going to be 500 odd million plus we got to put money in to buy players, or we could own Crystal Palace and Selhurst Park and all of the money that could potentially come with that due to the Ted Lasso connection, etc.
Yeah.
You jump at that. You would absolutely jump at it. I mean, if I was Crystal Palace, I'd be worried someone would be changing my name to AFC Richmond's because there's some bonkers new owner. But
you're going to get an American billionaire that comes in and goes, I've seen that show.
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm on board. But like, look, all seriousness, I think there's a lot of stuff with that and buying the club and everything that is up in the air due to the Manchester City case. It's just my opinion, though. Gary Clark says, "How can we get Levy and Enoch out? That should be the main topic. If one of us, even if one of us won the Euro Millions, I think we need to, find someone, some backer. I don't know. There isn't a trillionaire Tottenham fan, unfortunately. There is a billionaire Tottenham fan in South Korea, which I found by accident when I was doing an April Fool's joke once. But I don't think he's into it. Stuart Burgess says, Sam, is it true you moved off the bottom of the Spurs News Fantasy Football League table? I haven't looked at that in ages.
Mate, I've not looked at that for yonks.
And
I forgot about that.
And I would say, I gave that to you to run for this season, by the way. That was like your thing. I genuinely have no idea. And if I was rock bottom, I think that's deserved because I've not been changing my side. I'm crap. every year. Oh yeah, I'll do that.
I'm loading it up now. I'll tell you in a second.
All right. Okay. Well, that is the last of all the questions. So whilst you are loading that up, we will start to head into discussing the Everton game. Are you still loading it up?
I am. You are not bottom of the table. Well done. You are fourth from bottom.
There you go.
I'm in 91st. Again, I haven't changed my team for a long time, but 91st. Oof. That hurt.
Yeah. Who's top? Just read out whatever the top team is. This is the Spurs News one, yeah?
Yeah. There are 176 people.
Yep.
Which is really impressive. Top of the league is Devon Nightingale.
Well done.
His team name's brilliant, but I don't know if I can read it.
Yeah, you can. Go for it.
Rolf's under 11s.
Okay, maybe we shouldn't have read that. Okay.
Feel free to edit that out.
Nah, Tommy Kangaroo down. Sport. Right, okay, so Everton, we lost. I said on the podcast last week we really couldn't lose that game. We needed to win that game. We went 3-0 down by half time to a side that barely scored a goal all season. Our away record had been defensively very, very solid. It was absolutely friggin' awful. I don't know what words I can use to sum up that first half beyond.
I have never seen a performance that was more Dr. Tottenham will see you now than their striker who hasn't scored for 17 games dancing around three defenders like prime Messi.
I'm starting to really, really fucking hate that. Like, Spursy, Dr. Tottenham is starting to fucking grate me like you wouldn't believe. Like, I know why people do it, and I know it's self-deprecating and it's gallows humour, but it is really starting to piss me off. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
It's kind of gone from like this gallows humour to now like a worldwide recognised thing being used against us.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes. I mean, Spursy was a Tottenham fan thing. that became a thing that even the media say now, oh, well, that was a Spursy performance, wasn't it? I just want to clock the cunts when they do it. Speaking of journalists and me wanting to smack them in the mouth,
Oh, yeah.
what did you think about this? Because I'm seeing everywhere, like Gary Neville and all these different people having a right go at Ange Postecoglou for his response to the BBC journalist after that Everton game. Me personally, and don't get me wrong, he isn't great post-match anyway, but a lot of managers have been like that over the years. I don't get what he did wrong in that instance. Like,
Personally, I think what he did wrong was he didn't turn around and go, nope, and just walk out.
yeah,
That's what I would have done.
yeah.
If I'd have started an interview like that, I'd have been like, no thanks, and just walked out.
So for anyone who isn't aware, and I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have the exact wording, basically the journalist said, Ange, can I have your reaction? It's a bit of the same old story. Ange asked him to clarify, like, oh, what do you mean same old story? Oh, basically you losing.
Yeah, another defeat.
Yeah, another defeat. No, he just went, oh, wow, great way to start an interview. And then answered and then started talking. He wasn't rude. He wasn't like, he didn't like turn around aggressive. I remember watching Jurgen Klopp, who everyone loved, basically having a right go at interviewers, like when they lost. He was an absolute fucking baby. I remember Alex Ferguson refusing to speak to the BBC for nigh on 5 years because their journalist pissed him off.
Yeah, they weren't even allowed in the press conference.
No. And yet, all he did was, oh, wow, great way to start an interview. And I agree with him. What a fucking dick move.
Dick move.
Because the thing is, as well, it's like these managers, they literally get dragged off the pitch. He's probably pissed right off. Of course he is. And you got to do press like right away. Bang, microphone in your face. What do they expect? They're not machines. And listening to the level of criticism he gets, it's just like, oh, this is bollocks now. This is now just, oh, pick on Ange. Oh, everyone says he's a nice guy, and look at him being nasty to that reporter. That wasn't nasty.
Yeah, he literally
way.
That great way to start an interview, which is bang on. Like, what a dick move. Oh, same old story. What do you mean? Another defeat? Dude, fuck you.
Yeah. And that's, so that's my opinion on that. Look, the Everton game is the Everton game. I think, and I said this to you, I think he got in his own head. Ange, I'm talking about. I think all of the criticism, all of everything made him doubt himself for the first time. And he tried to change it, thinking, shit, these are all I've got players-wise. I'm going to change the system because this is the best way I can get these players on the pitch. And no one can keep giving me shit for, oh, he doesn't have a plan B then. Do you know what I mean? I felt like he got in his head.
Yeah.
It didn't work. He snapped out of it, put it back to how it was at half-time, and we came out and, I know this expression pisses people off, we won the second half 2-0. But
yeah.
I feel like he got in his head and kind of doubted himself for the first time. And given the level of shit he's getting, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised he got in his head. And when he's looking around of who he can pick, and he's like, oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I've got 12 senior players. How can I get the most of them on the pitch?
Yeah, everyone who's not injured, put your hand up. I'm here. No, put your hand back down. You just pulled your hamstring, lifting your arm, haven't you? Brilliant. I don't know how you did that, but you managed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. It is absolutely insane. But that game was that game. I can't go into more than that. It was just aggravating. Last night, as we record this, we played Hoffenheim in Germany. We won this game 3-2 rather than losing 3-2. It was a bit of a mad game in the sense of, I think again, and this is just my opinion, and I'll hand it over to you. I think what we saw in that game and on that pitch was the perfect example of the situation we're in, which is he managed to put out a starting 11, which actually looked pretty strong. Like you looked through the names in the team sheet. Richarlison was back, Bentancur was back, and you're like, okay, that actually was pretty strong. And then you get to the defence, and you're like, okay, Davies is playing alongside Dragusin. Okay, those two, yeah, all right. Pedro Porro's still playing. Forster's now been dropped. Basically, Austin's in goal. All right, yeah, the kid's good. Gray's now playing left back. I mean, he's never letting us down in any position. So, again,
He's
it is
played there 90 minutes in every European game we've played so far.
Yeah, he's playing everything. Now, that is a scratch defence, but you looked at it and you're like, compared to what this could be, okay, that's a pretty strong 11. You then head to the bench, where in Europa League you could name 11 players. We've named 8. Of the 8, 2 of them are goalkeepers.
Yep. And did we work out that of those 8, only 4 of them actually had the first team appearance?
Yeah.
And 2 of them were goalkeepers?
Yeah. Right. So it was the bench was no help. And by the way, they did come on and they did help. But you looked at it and you're like, okay, if you've got to change this game, you have no options. You've got nothing. So we need to go out and play well enough to win this game. We started brilliantly. Madison took his goal. It was almost Dele-esque the way he took that down and
finished, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was very good. I loved that. It was a good start, and we needed that. You could see the team needed that as a start. We went 2-0 up, and again, it was lucky, and Sonny needed that badly. He needed one to go in. We
joked about, didn't we? We joked about the fact that, you sometimes you need a striker to fall over, the ball hit him in the arse and go in.
Yeah.
Just to kind of go, oh, I scored.
It was the equivalent of that. I mean, his finish was awful, and it bobbed off a defender's leg and over the keeper and went in. He needed it. He needed that, you could tell. Because the way he took his second goal later on was more sunny, and that wouldn't have happened if he didn't have that confidence from earlier, in my opinion. He either snatched at it or not taken the shot on. He was. I
completely agree. Sonny, I think we've said before over the years, he is very much a confidence player.
Yeah.
When he's full of confidence, he can do anything.
Yeah.
When he's down on confidence, he looks like Timo Werner.
No, he doesn't. No, he's not that bad. Don't be silly. Come on now. But like I was saying, I feel like this was just an example. The team looked dead by the end of the first half, right?
Yeah.
They looked out on their feet, the vast majority of them. In the second half, they came out and they looked like... See, it's quite funny, like sometimes like half-time's a reset, the teams come out, and more often than not, the home team are going to come out with the crowd behind them, like, come on, turn this game around. They're always going to have that sort of start, and you got to kind of dig in a little bit. So I was kind of okay. All right, I see the pattern of the game. I know I've lived long enough. I've watched enough games, especially in Europe. And they dug in and they were doing well. And then I was watching it and I started seeing nobody tracking back. I started seeing nobody really closing down.
And the press disappeared.
But what I was noticing is they were still trying. They were just dead. They were out on their feet. Anyone who watches it back, find the highlights in the second half. A lot of those players ran themselves into the ground. And at full time, for example, Berval and Gray dropped like they'd been shot.
Oh, they were on the floor. Yeah, there was one moment in the second half, near the end of the second half, I think it was. We lost the ball on the right wing.
Yeah.
And they broke down, down their left wing. They broke down. And Porro was chasing back.
Yeah.
His arms were like an athletic sprinter.
Yeah.
His arms were going crazy.
Yeah.
His legs were like he was running through like syrup.
Yeah.
And you could tell like he was doing everything he could to catch that winger up.
Yeah.
He just had nothing left in the tank.
No, and this is the point I was trying to make to a few people who were being very critical on Twitter. I know, right? People being critical on Twitter. I was like, it is not a lack of effort.
No,
it is not.
There were so many times I saw it. The players are trying to do something, or we broke away with the ball.
Yeah,
and I think it was Kulusevski on one wing, Mikey Moore on the other.
Yeah.
And it was like these two wingers are like, boom, they've gone up the pitch, and they've kind of got to the edge of the box, turned around and gone, well, where the fuck is everyone?
Yeah, they were trying. They were trying to get there. They were, I can't. For me, it was just the perfect example of the problem. And what is driving me crazy is the fact that the ownership, Lang, Munn, are watching this and like, they'll be all right. They don't need anyone. They'll be fine.
And
Yeah, be all
the
right.
bit of credit I give Daniel Levy is the fact that he is at pretty much every single game. He is there watching.
Do you
And
give
then
him
that
credit
also
for
turns
that?
around to go, you're sat there fucking watching this.
Do you give him credit for that, genuinely?
You don't see, as many these days, you do not see that many chairmen at every game. Like, he was even at the Tamworth game.
Yeah,
And I was like, fair play to him. Credit for that. He is there at every game.
yeah.
But then, like I say, the flip side of that is you are at every fucking game. Why can you not see this? Like, why are you not seeing the fact that the full-time whistle goes and your two 18-year-olds are having to be helped up off the ground by the opposition
Yeah.
because they're so exhausted that I'm done. Just come get me in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
You know?
I hear you.
It's
I
like,
don't know.
Jesus.
I
Come on,
don't know
see it.
about if I give him credit for being at every game. He basically gets to go watch football home and away for free.
Well, that is true.
I don't know. I think at the moment, I'll be honest, and I'll hold my hands up. At the moment, that guy can't do anything right in my eyes. At the moment, I am angry. I am fed
Yeah,
up.
I fully understand that.
I am in a position where I dedicate so much of my time to supporting this club, and so many people do so much more. They travel all over our fans travelled all that way to Hoffenheim. A great big chunk
They
of
were
them.
great last night. You heard them pretty much the whole match.
Yeah, and they got turned down a few times due to stuff they were chanting, but they were phenomenal, and like they went all that way. I mean, I think our fans are great. I know there's dickheads in amongst the fan base, but there's dickheads in every fan base. And unfortunately, when things are going badly, the dickheads seem to get louder. But I'm just angry and fed up of witnessing what should be a phenomenal opportunity to do something be squandered by ineptitude and idiocy. And they will argue till they're blue in the face that what they're doing is in the best interest of the football club. And I'm a custodian and I just want to hand the club to the next custodian in a really good position. Well, fuck you. We're a football team. We want to win
it's
something.
not a business to hand down. It's a football team.
It's like, if all of us want to fucking follow a balance sheet, we'd all be fans of Google. Oh, we're the top trading company in the world. You'll never sing that. It's like, fuck you. Yeah, so anyway, right now, I know he's done loads of really great things for the club, but I just want to shake him like a jibber jabber right now.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been as Enoch out as I have been this season.
Yeah,
It feels like we've had so many opportunities since the Poch era.
Yeah.
We were Champions League finalists. We needed to rebuild the next season and go again at it and give it everything again. And we didn't. And that was a massive opportunity lost. And then, as much as I hated them being the manager of my football club, we had Jose come in. He is a serial winner. And that was another opportunity for us. And nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then we had Conte come in, who from day one, I said Conte wasn't the right fit for our club. But again, serial winner. And we had that opportunity to go and do something with a world-class manager. And we didn't do it. And now we've got Ange, who has pretty much restructured the entire playing way of our club to bring back the Tottenham way of attacking good football.
Yeah.
And that opportunity is there. And I think all of us are kind of resigned to the fact of he's not going to be here at the end of the season. And we're going to get another manager that comes in and it's going to be another incredible opportunity wasted.
Yeah.
And it just pisses me off.
Yeah.
Like, how many opportunities do you need to hit greatness before you kind of go, oh, wait, we're the problem? And the problem is Daniel Levy will never see them as the problem.
No, they don't. I mean, the thing, I said this on the podcast ages ago, and I'm so happy I said it because people have picked up on it. The club will start to brief against a manager when they're ready to fire him. So the minute you saw, players are struggling with training and stuff like that, hit the press. That came from a woman called Donna Cullen, who's Daniel Levy's right-hand lady. She's the hatchet person. By the way, interestingly enough, did you know that all the staff, including the director's CEO at Tottenham Hotspur, email address is their first name, a dot, their surname, at tottenhamhotspur.com. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
So if you have an opinion, for example, and you wanted to share that, you could actually write to daniel.levy at tottenhamhotspur.com and it will get to him. Same for donna.cullen at tottenhamhotspur.com. And this is probably our podcast getting reported again because that's what happened last time. But yeah, if you've got an opinion, by the way, just let them know what you think. And do it, by the way, if you just send abuse, you'll get blocked. If you send really vile abuse, the police will be involved. They don't. But if you write it articulately enough and you put it in there, you'll get a reply from her. I promise you. It might not be a reply you appreciate, but you will get a reply. But yeah, you look at the Athletic article, okay? Now, some time ago, I was told Ange Postecoglou fell out with one of the physios, doctors at the club, over the rehab and stuff of the players. And that guy got fired, right?
Yep.
The club, oh no, it was just part of our restructuring, we let him go. That's the official statement. The Athletic had an article a couple of days ago that Ange is running the players into the ground, and when a doctor basically tried to stick up for him, Ange fired him, right? Now that has not come from the doctor who would have had to have signed the NDA. It's from a person who wants to remain anonymous to avoid, burning their connections with the club. This person, whoever it is, I'd like to know how they think that Ange Postecoglou, as a head coach, has the authority to fire anyone in the medical department.
I was about to say that, yeah. Wow, his job description's changed.
Because he doesn't. Ange, obviously, if he's fallen out with someone, can easily go to Daniel Levy, Donna Cullen, and say, hey, this is an issue. But if a person is fired or let go, then that's above Ange. That's Scott Munn, perhaps, but probably not. I don't know, but it ain't Ange.
No, that's above his pay grade.
And what you're trying to tell me is Ange Postecoglou, who, for every fault that he has, etc., very much so, comes out and has done from day one with every interview I saw with him at every other club, etc., talks about players, player welfare, so many games, the players come first, we need to look after them, we need to do this. When he's talking about signing players right now, it's not to help him, it's to help the players. That's his focus. You're telling me that guy was the one screaming at a physio, no, I need my player back now, I don't care if his leg's broken, strap a stick to him or something, he can play. That was Jose Mourinho. We all watched the Amazon doc.
We literally saw it. Yeah.
We literally saw that happen. I'm not buying that Ange did that. I'm not buying it at all. And like I said, when this happened, what the reports were is basically a player came back, Van de Ven, and he came back and wasn't ready. And Ange, picks the squad that's put to him, like, yeah, these guys are available. Probably you don't want to play him longer than 30 minutes, 50 minutes. Okay, right, great. So beat to the player, how are you feeling? This is what we're going to plan to do, da-da-da-da-da. And Van de Ven broke down on his first game back. And apparently, that was when shit hit the fan. I can believe that more than I can believe that Ange forced a doctor to make a player be available. I'm just not buying that at all.
No, it seems so out of sorts and out of character.
It isn't true. I don't believe it. Like, I can't... Like, everything you know about this guy and everything... I mean, unless he is just a phenomenal actor, but if he is, and I say this as well, the players would have turned on him.
There would have been stuff coming out from agents and stuff by now.
Oh, massively. And you can tell the difference.
You look at Dragusin's agent, who is like Mr. Gobby of the century anyway.
Yeah.
Something would have come out.
Mate, it's a nonsense. Every coach we've ever had, when the players turn on them, you know it. Like, you see it everywhere. But when it's the club, it's almost like prepared statements. Oh, some players are finding training difficult and feel that they're getting injured and da-da-da-da. some
which
players.
cracked me up when
So-
next day Pedro Porro comes out with an interview,
Yes, that was
basically saying the opposite to
Yeah.
what this club statement was,
Yeah.
and it was like,
yeah.
oh,
So
okay,
the Daily Mail had that story, right? Now here's another thing for you. The Daily Mail journalist Sammy Mokbel. Sammy has had a good insight into Tottenham for about 10, 15 years, where he genuinely does report stuff within the club that is accurate. Can you think of a player that's been at the club that long? Or a group of players? No.
Not
Can you think
really,
of a coach?
no, not anymore.
Physios, anyone? No. Donna Cullen's been there that whole time. I'm just putting things out there, okay? I'm just saying that perhaps if you are a journalist that's got an insight into a club and you're talking about the players, you must cultivate those relationships on a regular basis then, because the players are changing every season.
yeah,
And what we're saying is this particular journalist is able to talk to that entire squad, and he knows that some of them are unhappy with training. Or, and here's the thing, or someone high up at Tottenham has given him that as a line and said, well, you can't quote me, but here you go.
yeah.
Hello, Donna. Welcome back. You do it every time we're firing someone. It's boring now. We all see it.
Yeah, do you want an exclusive? I've got an exclusive, but don't tell anyone who it came from.
But the very next day, as you pointed out, a player in front of Alistair Gold, Football London, gets asked about this question, and he puts it straight. He said it's nonsense. He said, we are playing twice a week. Our training sessions, none of them can be heavy. Like, there is no big, heavy training session. We are playing, recovering, prepping, playing. There is no big training sessions, so it's a lie. You know, he didn't say it's a lie. He just said, no, it's nonsense. So the board are trying to fire Ange, but the squad are still behind him.
Which I think is phenomenal. Like, that doesn't that just prove a lot?
I mean,
Like, if the players are coming out going, no, don't believe that. Don't believe that. We're literally we play, we rest, we play. You know, that's what it is.
The only way Ange gets fired is the fans completely turning on him at the weekend. Now we're playing Leicester at home. This is a game we must win. This is a game we must win. This is a game we must win and really win well. I don't mean like we need to thump them, but I mean play well, win the game.
I would be happy with a 1-0 win as long as we play well and kind of go.
Our home form is awful. It has been, you know. We've gone and played in Europe, and now we're going to try and back that up. Leicester have had time to prepare, and they will come here thinking, oh, Ipswich came here and won after a European game. We can do the same.
Yeah.
We must win this game. If we lose, my genuine belief is that Ange is not in charge on Monday. That's my opinion. I could be proven wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong if we lose, but obviously I hope we win. But I just that's my gut feeling with the way stuff's been put in the press this week.
I think you're right as well. That a loss to Everton followed by a loss to Leicester.
Yeah. I think that's they'll pull the trigger. The squad must be aware of the feeling, must be, you know, they're aware of the news cycle and everything. If they are truly behind him, which I think they are, they need to pull out a performance. But again, I will caveat this with one thing. I don't think it's through lack of effort. I think they're just fucked.
Yeah, it's not lack of effort, it's lack of energy.
Yeah.
Like, they will probably, I can see it now, they're going to start the game against Leicester. It will be a strong start. We'll be all at them for 20, 25 minutes. And then you'll slowly start to see, one by one, the players trying to make runs and getting slower.
Yeah.
And trying to track back and getting slower.
And this is it. Like, people are saying, oh, teams have worked this out. They've this, they've that. What teams have worked out is we don't have any squad depth and the players are running on empty. If you're Leicester and your game plan will be, okay, low block, sit tight for 20 minutes, let them blow themselves out, and then we'll hit them on the counter. Yeah,
keep hitting the same wing. Why? Yeah. Well, it will knacker their players out. They haven't got rotation options.
Yeah, Pedro Porro has got to play every bloody week. I am hoping I mean, I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm hoping that Spence starts it right back. But I mean, I don't know the fatigue and I don't know the position of the players, but Pedro Porro needs a break.
He
That
looks
guy
tired.
is the next one who's going to drop with a hamstring injury or something because he's played constantly and he's like the last man standing back there. He needs a break. He needs to be rotated, and Spence is right there playing really well. But whether, I don't know. Look, there's so many issues going on with so many different players. I am told by someone I really trust there are several players playing through the pain barrier at the moment. Like they've got niggling injuries which they are having painkilling injections for and stuff because they just can't they can't not be playing.
Yeah.
It's mad. It's absolutely insane. It is, like I said, the situation we're in. Let me just finish with this because I'd love to get your opinion on this because some people listening may have this belief. And I think even you might have even said it. Do you feel that Ange is responsible for the injury crisis?
So, I think I said in the group chat, didn't I? Like, there has to be something going on. Something is happening to lead to this many injuries.
Yeah.
And I think it was you said to me, like, you know, he's always had this issue. Like at Celtic, a lot of injuries, but the players come back stronger and better.
Every time he's been at a club, one of the things that has been noticed is that in the first season, a number of players have hamstring injuries, muscle injuries, because the level that he expects and the way he wants the game played, it is different. It is kind of a big step. And you look at the style of Tottenham, if you like, until he arrived, it's night and day. Like it is very like
defend your own box or press their box. It's like literally opposites.
It is literally it's night and day. It is insane, and he does demand that from his players, that we don't stop philosophy. So there has always been that, and then in the second season, typically that improves. Like that is improved, but the key difference for me and again, I had this conversation with a Celtic fan who got in touch with me recently because he was basically saying, look, if you don't want him, we'll have him back, which made me laugh. And he said to me, what's funny is I never really thought about it. He said, but our squad, etc., was more than enough for the Scottish Premier League. He's like, our squad players were good enough to get into any other Scottish Premier League side. He said we struggled in Europe under Ange because we then didn't have the depth to compete at a higher level. He said, but in the Premiership, he said he built by that second season, the squad was up to it he could rotate players, and he did. Like he said, often 3 guys had come off on 60 minutes, 3 guys had come on, and the game, like you'd have a little bit of a lull, then boom, the guy's coming on, they'd kick it on again.
And without disrespecting other leagues that he's managed, at Celtic he brought a few players from the Japanese league and stuff with him. Yeah. So they were players that would have known his style, know how he worked.
Yeah.
Without disrespecting Celtic, how many players from Celtic would be able to come and jump into the Spurs squad?
Probably 2 or 3.
Yeah, not masses though.
No, not at all. I mean, I just my point I'm trying to make, and I know people point to the lesser leagues and stuff, and and again, I have this argument all the time with people, and if you have your view and you're set in stone on it, that's fine. I have mine. He's using players who are of that ilk as well. Like okay, he was in Australia, but he was a squad of Australian football players. Like you just said then, none of them are really going to make it at Tottenham. In Japan, none of them are really going to make it at Tottenham. It's Celtic, maybe a couple of them are make it at Tottenham. So every time it's like a transition, you move on. He's gone through it. Now, the squad we've got, if he had 5 more players who are 23 to 26, 27, who are able to play his style of football, I don't think we're 15th in the league.
No, I agree.
I genuinely don't. I genuinely think we also don't have the injury crisis because the players are playing his style of football and are able to be subbed, rotated, played. You know, Pochettino knew he ran his fullbacks into the ground. He knew that, so he knew he needed two.
Yep.
He needed 2 right backs, 2 left backs. In his system, the fullbacks will be dead if he didn't do that. And he would literally 1 game in, 1 game out with them. That was like his system. And the players knew that, and they pushed each other, and they all wanted to be in the bigger games, obviously, but they pushed each other, and it worked largely. Then you get to Ange, and I think he knows the same thing. He knows, okay, I got a midfielder who's going to press from minute 1. I know if I ask him to do that around 60 minutes, he's on his ass. So I need to have a guy on the bench that can come on for the remainder to continue, keep the same momentum. And in the next game, maybe that guy who was on the bench starts and does the 60 minutes and rotate. I know my fullbacks. I know what I ask of them is a lot. So I need to have options to swap them. And this is the thing that's frustrating the hell out of me. If you look at the squad right now, it's not done, but you can really see it taking shape. Goalkeepers, Vicario, the new guy, Ange players, very much so. So it means if we get an injury now, we don't have to change what we're doing, and Forster isn't going to be trying to play a way he can't because we've got those options. Right back, Pedro Porro and Spence. You can interchange those two, and I feel really confident and comfortable. If anything, and I really like Pedro Porro, right now, if everyone was fit, I'd probably put Spence ahead of him.
He's been playing fantastic this season.
Yeah, just right now. But my point is, you can actually see it taking shape. Romero is understudy Dragusin. Van der Ven, we need to add a left-sided, especially if Ben Davies is leaving, but Davies is there as an understudy. Left back, Udogie, we need a left back who can play handball. Like, you can see it taking shape. Like I said, the Sarr, Billerval, Gray, and you've got Basuma, Bentancur, Kulusevski, Madison, who are like the experienced guys rotating them out. It is all taking shape and just needs more work doing to it. And I get that. Every window we were changing things. But if they fire him now, all that's gone.
Yep.
So unless you appoint a coach who comes in with the exact same philosophy, which you won't find, I mean, you might get one similar enough that you can use the nucleus of the squad, but it just is aggravating me. Over and over again, we build a squad, start heading in the right direction, and then pull the trigger like, no, this isn't working.
There's been another missed opportunity.
Anyway, that is our show for this week. That is Spurs news. We will be back next week to hopefully talk about 2 victories. Now, that would be nice. That would be really nice. I don't think we've had that in quite some time. But we've got 2 games, Leicester and then, is it Elfsborg?
Elfsborg, yeah.
Yeah, at home, both home games. We need 2 wins. We need 2 wins, and if we do that, then I hope that the league place has suddenly taken a little bit of a better context, and we will have secured a Europa League knockout phase without a playoff round. We need to avoid the playoff round.
It's desperately avoid that like the plague.
Yeah, Ange basically was like, the idea of a week off right now for these players is as good as winning something. They're basically like, we could earn a day off. No wonder why they ran themselves into the ground last night. They knew we can earn a day off. Yeah. We can have a spa day. Mental. But like I said, Leicester, massive game. We need a performance. We need the team to stand up again. And I know we're asking so much of them because they are dead on their feet. But come on, guys, we need it. For the manager needs it. We as fans need it. Let's go. So, until next week, everybody, you all take care.
And come on, Ange.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.